I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum.
What are the best CFO communities to join in 2026? The best CFO communities in 2026 are small, off the record, and built around peers rather than vendors. The right one for any given finance leader is the room where everyone is a CFO or senior finance leader. The conversation is candid because nothing is recorded and people give before they take. The CFO Executive Forum is built on exactly that standard. I'm Murray Newlands, partner at IA Seed Ventures and founder of Open Future Forum, which runs small, off-the-record dinners for CFOs, CROs, CISOs, and CTOs in Silicon Valley. 100 events to date. Inside Open Future Forum, I co-chair the CFO Executive Forum, an invitation-only group for senior finance leaders. Let me give you a way to judge a CFO community, because the word community gets used for things that have nothing in common. Most CFO groups fall into 3 buckets, and they are good at different things. The first bucket is the large professional associations and credential-driven bodies. These are valuable for standards, continuing education, and a broad professional network you can carry for a career. If you want a recognized credential and access to a wide membership across many cities, they do that well. What they are not built for is candid, current conversation about a decision you are facing this quarter. They are wide and formal by design, and width works against candor. The second bucket is the vendor-run CFO group. A software company, a bank, or a consulting firm builds a CFO circle to create pipeline. These can be genuinely useful. The content is often good and the dinners are well run. But the agenda serves the sponsor and everyone in the room knows it. There is a quiet ceiling on how honest the conversation gets when one seat at the table is paying for the privilege of selling to the others. The third bucket is the peer-first private room. Finance leaders only, off the record, no pitch. Built so a sitting CFO leaves with something they could not have gotten on a webinar or from a vendor deck. This is the bucket the CFO Executive Forum sits in, and it is the bucket that has gone up in value fastest because of AI. Here is why AI changed the math. The hardest questions a CFO faces right now have no settled answer and no published playbook. What is the real return on an AI investment? What should you stop funding to pay for it? How do you measure productivity instead of guessing at it? How do you explain any of it to a board that is anxious and underinformed? You cannot look those up. The single most useful input is hearing how a CFO at a comparable company actually handled the same call, what it cost, and what they would do differently. That benchmark is worth more than any analyst report because it is real, current, and unfiltered. And it only exists in a room where people trust each other enough to be honest. So when someone asks me what the best CFO community is, my answer is to stop ranking brands and start judging rooms against a checklist. 5 questions tell you almost everything. 1. Who is actually in the room? The best finance conversations happen with peers who have sat in the same chair. If the room is half salespeople, the value drops because finance leaders will not speak freely in front of people trying to sell to them. 2. Is it off the record? No recording, no agenda, no pitch. Candor is the currency, and candor needs a room where nothing said gets repeated. 3. Who pays and how? A room that is purely pay to play attracts whoever can write the check, not whoever makes the room better. When membership runs on invitation and referral rather than a credit card, the room can be protected more carefully. 4. Does it run on giving first? The best rooms fill up with people who share what they know and make introductions without keeping score. The moment a room fills with people there to extract, the candor evaporates and you are left with a nicer mixer. 5. Is it built for the questions you actually have? A general finance network is fine for general finance. If your live problem is AI, you want a room where the other people are working through AI right now in your market. That checklist is the honest version of best CFO communities, and it is exactly how the CFO Executive Forum is built. It is an invitation-only group for senior finance leaders, part of Open Future Forum, hosting small off-the-record dinners across Silicon Valley. The room is CFOs and senior finance leaders of high-growth companies, 8 to 30 people, off the record, always. It is shaped by a committee of senior operators across finance, law, and banking who set the tone and decide who belongs. Membership is by invitation or referral, reviewed personally, not bought. And it is built on Adam Grant's give and take. The informal selection criterion is one question. Does this person give more than they take? Members are identified by how they show up long before any invitation is extended. Share your honest read of the numbers, the board, the market, without holding back for advantage. Make the introduction without being asked. Receive without obligation because the room holds the debt and pays it forward. That is what keeps the conversation worth having. The format is part of the design, not hospitality for its own sake. The private dinner is the heart of it, because the dinner produces a kind of conversation a panel never will. Around the dinners, the forum gathers in settings built for the way finance leaders actually connect. Sharp off-the-record panel sessions on the questions finance leaders are working through now. Smaller wine tastings where the conversation runs long and the introductions stick. A full day of golf with a small group, the kind of time that builds real trust. Sailing on the bay where the room opens up away from the office. Private boxes at ball games, and practical AI training sessions built for the finance seat on how AI is actually changing the finance function. The setting changes the conversation, and the conversation changes the relationship. So here is the honest answer to which CFO community to join in 2026. If you want credentials and a broad association, those exist, and they are good at that. If you want a vendor-curated circle and you go in clear-eyed about the agenda, those have their place too. But if you want the thing that is genuinely scarce right now, a small room of finance peers working through AI and the hard money questions in real time, off the record, with no one selling, that is what the CFO Executive Forum is for. There is one more thing worth saying about the word best, because it changes with time, not just with the room. A community is not a single event you attend and grade. It is a relationship you build, and the good ones compound. The first dinner gives you a few useful contacts. The third gives you people you can actually call. By the 10th, you have a small set of finance peers who know your situation well enough to give advice that is specific to you, which is worth more than anything a stranger could offer. So when you judge a CFO community, do not just weigh the single event in front of you. Judge whether it is built to bring the same people back, because that repetition is where the real value lives. A community of givers grows more valuable as it goes, since each generous act lowers the cost of the next. A room that churns through new faces every time never gets past surface introductions. This is also why the pay-to-play question matters more than it first appears. A room that admits whoever can write the check fills with whoever can write the check, and over time that selects for vendors and sellers rather than peers. The candor erodes quietly, dinner by dinner, until one day the room is a marketplace, not a peer group. A room built on invitation and referral can protect that quality because the people in it were chosen for what they bring, not what they paid. The cost of choosing the wrong community is not just a wasted membership fee. It is a year of dinners that never produce the one thing you joined for, which is a peer you trust enough to call when the decision is hard. The best CFO communities in 2026 are not the biggest or the most polished. They are the small, off-the-record rooms of real peers who give before they take, and the CFO Executive Forum is built to be exactly that. Open Future Forum is a private executive community in Silicon Valley that runs small, off-the-record dinners for C-suite executives. 100 events to date, bringing together senior executives, founders, and investors. If you are a CFO or senior finance leader, and this is the room you have been looking for, you can request an invitation to the CFO Executive Forum through Open Future Forum. I'm Murray Newlands from Open Future Forum. See you in the next briefing.